What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more punk rock, and we're going back to Bad Religion's 8085 compilation again. And as with the last time I reacted to this, which was for Eat Your Dog, we're going to listen to a tune that originally comes from their How Could Hell Be Any Worse debut album in '82. And this song is Voice of God is Government. This song is interesting for a number of reasons. I would say, first of all, it's interesting because Greg does his best impression of a televangelist at the beginning of the song. It opens with this sort of, him acting as a pastor addressing his flock. But then ultimately, the message that he's suggesting is perhaps more cynical, or perhaps not more cynical, but more openly craven in its appeal for cash, which is then used to fund far-right political candidates who then, impose their social, cultural, and religious vision on the rest of American society, even if that means depriving people and entire communities of their rights and liberties and access to certain things like healthcare and so on, which I have to say feels very of the moment. But yeah, it's a song in which the band criticizes not only the way in which people talk about their high ideals of the hereafter and, just believing in certain things, but then they're actually, again, trying to, raise money to build mega churches where they can amplify these messages and these cultural values that are in some ways very judgmental and exclusionary. And then to fund candidates who, want to bring that religiosity into American politics, which again, it feels very of the moment, even though it was written 40 years ago. So yeah, it gets at that issue, but it also gets at the way in which, there's this odd embrace among people who seem to talk again about spiritual matters and spiritualism and the purity of belief and so on, but they really do seem to want a lot of cash, and they really don't want to pay taxes on that cash, and they want to be able to use that cash to support politics. So it's a critique of televangelism, it's a critique of far-right groups like back then the PMRC, but there are many today as well. So it's a critique of sort of the far-right religious effect on American politics through these megachurches and so on, and televangelist TV channels. And indeed, there's a line near the end where it's like, oh, is it now religions? It's a TV game? Like, what are we talking about? So yeah, it attacks this sort of phenomenon for a number of different angles. But yeah, as I keep saying, everyone is welcome on this channel. I talk about the bands that I listen to, and I've been a secular guy myself for a long time, but as long as people don't engage in violence or hate-mongering or censorship on account of their views, I got no problem. I'll even support them to the best of my ability, socially, politically, legally, culturally, and so on. All I ask for is the same live and let live mentality. So again, everyone's welcome on the channel, but you talk about Bad Religion, you have to talk about their lyrics. So here we go. This is the voice, or not the, but just Voice of God is Government from their 1982 album, How Could Hell Be Any Worse? Though once again, we're hearing it here on the 8085 compilation from '91.
Neighbors, no one loves you like he loves you. And no one cares like he cares. Neighbors, let us join today in the holy love of God and money. Because neighbors, no one loves you like he loves you. Now what better way to show your love than to dig deep into your pockets. Dig real deep and give until it hurts. Alleviate your guilt. Free yourself once again, because he gave to you, brothers and sisters. Please give a $10, $45, or $50 tax-deductible donation, and I assure you your modest pledge will be used to censor TV and radio,
Ban questionable books,
and contribute to many other godly services. No longer will young Christian Americans hedonistically indulge in masochistic submission to rhythmic music, or with their monetary support. There is no end to what we can achieve in this country. The voice of God is government. The voice of God is government. The voice of God is government. And God saves us. Save the man to the vote. Can't you see what we believe in? Our lives and our reason to life and liberty. Happiness we can't change. Mighty Lord from our desire real life. I am in the change love. Take the servant one more block.
Like you can like feel the circle pit. Excellent. When I first got this compilation, that was one of my favorites. I still like it a lot, but there are a few songs that have maybe surpassed it a little bit for me. But it really is an excellent tune. And like I said, it's almost, there's a Dead Kennedy song where Jello begins as a pastor or sort of like a televangelist addressing his flock, and it's a bit more over the top and theatrical, which makes sense as Jello Biafra. But I love the band Bad Religion here experimenting with that sort of kind of ironic opening. I really do enjoy that. Yeah, and like I said, the lyrics I think are it's amazing how prescient some of their songs are, even though they were relevant then. It's 40 years later, and if it's any less relevant, it's not really clear to me. It might even be more relevant. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you're a fan of this one. Shout out to a couple people who commented on the Eat Your Dog reaction, saying not only they're down with Bad Religion, but that they do like the early sound too. So yeah, we'll go through more songs on this. There's a couple that I've already done, a few that have been shouted out. I'm trying to think. I know I've done part 3, as I said I did yesterday. Eat Your Dog. Oh, I did White Trash Second Generation. What else did I do? I think that might be it. So yeah, there's still the vast majority here to do. So I'll go through them, but do shout it out if there's one or two you'd like to hear. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I'll see you next time.